paraphrasing Joshua chapter 9 from verse 14. The men sampled some of their foods but didn't seek the advice of Adonai. So Yeshua made peace with them and made a covenant with them to spare their lives, and the leading officials of the community swore to them. But 3 days later, after they had made the covenant with them, they heard that they were their neighbours, that they lived there with them. Sometimes as like a Christian, sometimes we forget about our Father who makes paths for us, who has our life planned. And sometimes we kind of rush into decisions, and we rush into them without actually seeking the advice from our Father. Now, that might be habit, because maybe you weren't born as a Christian, or maybe it's just our human kind of fleshy that wants to fully always be in control and rush into decisions. Some people have like a personality like that, where they don't really think about things, they just go ahead and do it. But actually, this is an example of what can happen when you don't seek the advice and you just go on your own kind of things, and you don't even ask for kind of counsel either. He didn't even ask counsel with his other, fellow people that he had around him. Instead, he was like, you know what, I trust them. I'm just gonna, it looks like they're not from here, they look like they've traveled for days, I'm going to trust them and make this covenant. And it turns out actually this covenant was completely and utterly kind of, obviously the covenant was still there, but the fact that they were deceived by it, and the fact that it points out that where is it? Yeah, the fact that it said the men sampled some of the food but didn't seek the advice of Adonai. So they saw their food and thought, you know what, it looks pretty old. We trust you. But it makes a point here, and it highlights the fact that they did not seek the counsel of God, and that the way that it highlights there is to make a point that we need to be seeking advice from our Father. There's nothing wrong with, Joshua didn't even seek anyone in his group, but there's nothing wrong with seeking advice from, fellow mature Christians and stuff. But sometimes we have to make big decisions, that could be life decisions that we need to make. And, they're big decisions, and God knows the path that he wants us to take. So whenever we ask him, he shows us signs, he gives us confirmation, that sort of thing. But it solves a lot of heartache if you actually go to God and he sometimes will reveal what he has for you. Sometimes he won't, because sometimes it's too soon. He'll make it obvious if he wants you to make that option or not to make that option. So it's really important to remember that God is our Father, and he knows everything. So why would we not go to our Father for advice that entails our life, which he created for us?